Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om. Ready for a new round in our Zoom Satsangs? Leo is just chasing a crow. They're always teasing him, and he keeps on running after them. Is there anybody who would like to come in? Please come in.
Hello to everybody.
Hello, Udi.
I hope that you are doing well.
Oh, yes,
And
thank you.
And I would like to hear from you some words about memories. It seemed to me that all of us are dealing with memories. Part of them come and go through our life, or we can deal them in an easy way. Some of them are returning back. Some of them influence our life, and some other are not. So can you say a few words about memories in this way of thinking that we are talking about?
Yes. I mean, memories are a storehouse of knowledge. If we don't have any memories, then we would be a tabula rasa all the time. And in that sense, they are a wealth, a capital that we have. But we should treat them like a storehouse of knowledge, like a computer memory. It's a big store with a lot of information that can be very useful. We can pick it out and apply it in the present situation. That's the positive aspect of it. Unfortunately, we have the tendency to emotionally, energetically being hooked into memories. And then they keep on, as you said, they keep on influencing our life. They keep on influencing our reactions to the circumstances, to other people, our mental reactions, and after that also our physical, external reactions. While doing so, we are giving the past a reality that it doesn't deserve. The past is just a storehouse of memories, of knowledge. But it's not alive. The future is something that we keep on expecting, dreaming about, calculating, but it's not alive except the life that we give it. There is such a total different category. The moment now, it's really alive because we are experiencing it. Our consciousness is here, our love, our life force is involved now. This is the point, the only point we are touching reality. All else is in the mind. And yet, we do give the past the reality that it does not deserve by being attached to memory. We can be in a positive way attached, that we think, oh, it's a very wonderful thought, it's a very wonderful memory, or we can be negatively attached, that we have maybe lived through traumatic experiences, and instead of letting it go and letting it in the past, we keep on hooking into it consciously, and a lot of it happens subconsciously. That traumas that we are subconsciously connecting with it, connecting with the past, and influencing our life, influencing our way of perceiving, thinking, feeling, acting. And it's good to learn to become aware of that, and then detach, withdraw the life force that we are still hooking into that, withdraw it to that timelessness of the present, and let it be as what it is, as just a memory of the past. And then when we are not attached, then the positive memories and the negative memories, they are enriching. It's only when we have that emotional attachment, then the negative memories are, oh, why has it happened? Why have they behaved like this? Why have I behaved like this? I shouldn't have done like this. And lose our vital force for something that doesn't exist except in our mind. That we give it a fake reality that it doesn't deserve, and we lose our vital force that we could spend so much better simply being aware here now, touching that well of creativity. If we stop being emotionally, energetically attached to the memories, then you become always fresh and new. Then every moment is again just a new, beautiful experience that your inner touch with reality gets in touch with the perception, with the experience of the now, and make something beautiful out of it. And it's so much impaired by hanging on to memories in an emotional, energetic way. So when we become aware that there are stories that come up again and again, and we're turning it around, then if we catch ourselves brooding about it and think, oh, it shouldn't have been like this, then accept the past as it is, as it was. Accept how other people have behaved, accept how I have behaved. It's no point in fretting about it. Okay, there I may have misbehaved, but in doing so, I learned also a lesson, and I'm wiser for the experience. So what does it matter if my image has maybe not gotten the best coloring in that situation? What does it matter that if I have done something and then some people may think, but this guy is not good? What does it matter? We just are attached to the self-image that is coming out of the past, and that's why we are so concerned about the memories, about the past. If we catch ourselves hanging on to them, if we catch ourselves really turning the same story over and over, then don't try to forcefully push it away, but consciously do it instead of half-consciously turning it on and on and on. Just consciously let the thoughts come, let the emotions come, and observe what it is doing to you right now, physically, energetically. And there we can relax, physically, energetically, relax. And when this past memories comes, charged with a lot of energy, charged with a lot of emotions, and you experience them consciously now, what they are doing to you, and relax, they start to discharge. And gradually that hook is gone. And then it's just a memory, a source of knowledge, a source of information that is useful when it's necessary to pick out of that storehouse and apply it in the present.
So there are sometimes that you hear a word of wisdom from somebody that you consider as a teacher.
Yes.
and they're coming back and forth,
Mm.
and you realize that they are coming toward you in the present, and instead of watching them, from time to time you even judge them.
Yeah.
Are they relevant now? Are they not relevant? So what about, let's say, I would call them even memories that exist between somebody and somebody who is listened to him, or think that the word that he found from him is very relevant to his life. But
Mhm.
not always those words are nice, in the place.
Yes. I'm not quite getting the question. What to do when this is happening?
How we deal
How we deal with
with
it?
words of wisdom that we learn or listen, or understand, or accept from somebody that we consider him as a teacher,
Mhm.
not to be, or they should be also the same as any other memories.
That's, like I said, memories are a wealth if we are not emotionally involved. But if in a certain situation the memory comes of a saying of a master that has impressed you in the past, then the memory of those words, as well of that experience that you had in connection with that word, you don't go and dream about what happened in the past. You bring that in the present moment and open up. So then it's not that you are slipping again in the past and you should treat that memory with another reference than memory as such, because it's just a memory. But if it's a memory that has helped you to connect, that very memory that it has done so, you don't go and dream about it and are again lost in the past, but you bring that in the present and get inspired by it.
So it's raised the question of course, that the process of judgment, that we are judging.
If you are
And
judging, then, oh, sorry. Yeah.
we're experiencing, every experience we judge him somehow, no?
Mm. Of course, the tendency is there. We have been brought up that somehow we have to do that. That every damn little thing that is happening, this is good, this is bad, this is okay, this is not good, this should not be at all, this should be, but it is not. And then judging people and of course judging ourselves all the time. And it's good to see that and to gradually reduce that and learn not to do that anymore. That doesn't mean we have to become impractical. If in a certain situation we see, okay, somebody comes up towards us and it's clear, if I'm getting involved in that situation, something negative comes out of it, then it's simply wisdom, if we can, to go around that person and not treat it as a moral judgment, simply because it makes a lot of sense. We don't have to become silly because of that, stopping judging. We can be very practical and have common sense and see what is beneficial, what is not beneficial, and choose the beneficial whenever it's possible. But when we are judging, then we are doing one thing more. We are adding moral thing, that moral thing that we have learned, that is not something natural, that we have learned, and along with the moral thing comes all that emotion, and with that emotion comes all our life force that is pouring into it, which is absolutely not necessary. At the same time, we don't have to artificially try to say, no, no, everybody is good and everything is good and it's all nice and wonderful. It's all the play of divinity, but on the relative level, to say everything is good is wrong. We don't have to artificially try to push ourselves in a pink cloud and just see everything as good. Be reasonable, have common sense, but we don't have to attach always that emotional thing, that judgment. This guy is no good, he shouldn't be like this, why is he doing like this? This man is so good, and making an emotional big fuss about it, but just see, okay, here I am, I'm opening to that which helps me, to that which helps my purpose here, that consciousness can unfold. And I rather avoid that which disturbs that, which has the tendency to contract consciousness. And then it's not more a moral thing, it simply makes the most amount of sense that we spend our time like this.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Hari Om. Hari Om.
Very,
Okay, is there anybody else who would like to come?
Hello, Werner.
Hello.
I'm Rebecca.
Yeah. Your picture came?
How are
It's
you?
gone? Oh, you are there again. Hello.
Yeah. Yes.
You are back home again?
I want to. Yeah, I'm back home, and but much more better. I mean, I'm doing my job, so I started to look to that kind of anger, that kind of resentment towards him. Every time that sometimes comes, I ask myself, no, what's that related with me? So it is helping me not to also writing, helping to know what is going on.
Rebecca,
Yes.
you are breaking up in between. I could follow so, but somehow I'm not getting your sound very clearly.
Okay. I try maybe. Okay. Wait a moment.
It comes, it goes, it makes.
Wait 1 moment.
Yeah.
I'm going to disconnect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can
Now
you,
I can
could you hear me now better?
Much better, yes.
Now I can hear you. I don't know what I have done.
You can't hear me.
No.
Yeah. Are you still, now you try to get it from the computer. Oh, you can't hear me, but you still have the Bluetooth on. Turn off the Bluetooth.
No, it's switched off. Could you hear me now, Werner?
Yes, I hear you.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, now I can hear you also.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice. Okay. So I'm doing that job now of looking what is happening with me instead of projecting on him, no?
Yes,
that
right.
anger and that resentment. And well, I have discovered many things, no, about myself and how that situation has affected me, no? So in some way, I was not living my life, no. I was always looking for some kind of approval, some kind of. But there was still something high that it was difficult to me to clear out what was, and I realized that it's much more rooted on me a sense of fear towards him. No fear to his reactions, fear to, because you never know how he's going to react of something you say, maybe he's not agree, and maybe something without any sense and many no. So, and I realized that feeling is much more root on me.
Yeah.
And even I can feel it physically, no? I can feel how it affects my breathing, how it affects my all my muscles.
Yes.
So I know that you have talked many times about fear, but if you could tell me something about how to continue with that kind of process.
Right, but it's great what you are telling. It's great that you can see that. Then in that way you can really get rid of that old weight that you have been carrying because of whatever has happened, whatever. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah.
Whatever has happened, and then that expectation that it should continue like this all the time. It's great that you become aware. It's an internal process in you. It's not that you have to somehow mend and repair that relationship with your father, but you have to make peace with yourself about the whole situation. And then part of it, of course, is always the fear how the reaction can be, but also fear of not getting the desired approval.
Mm-hmm.
That the little girl is still there who wants the daddy to say, "You are a good girl, it's well done." And that we can let go. Now, how to deal with that? When you become aware that it is there, as you said, that suddenly you become aware now, and it affects your breathing, it affects your muscles, the very awareness that you're shifting on that instead of being involved in the story, what happened or what could happen, but at that moment you become aware how that story out of the past, how the possible story in the future is affecting your present, down to the body, that your muscles are getting cramped. There, on that level, you can start to act. On that level, you can consciously start to relax. You may not be able in one moment, even if you give the command, relax, that it simply completely goes. But if you start to give that command and give it again and again, then it starts to happen. It starts to relax more and more. And do the simple things. Relax your legs. Relax your feet. Even if your chest is full of tension, just relax your legs and relax your feet. You will see that the whole rest of the body starts to relax already more. And then if you physically start to relax even to some extent, energetically, it already starts to get lighter. like it starts to evaporate. And if you do that for some time, then after a moment it may simply disappear. That doesn't mean it has simply gone completely. Maybe for that moment you dealt with it, it's gone, but it's very easily, most probably possible that the same story comes back another time. And you catch yourself, I'm again totally in the same old reaction. And then you just start all over again. Instead of being hooked, what brought that reaction about? Which memory, which story of the past, or which expectation that what tomorrow evening, what's going to happen? That you don't get stuck there, but you come back home to the present and see what it is doing, and you start all over. You just consciously relax. Relax your feet, relax your legs, relax your whole body as good as you can. Don't start to get frustrated at yourself if you cannot completely relax. Just starting to relax is immediately start to ease up the story. Emotionally, energetically, emotionally, already it starts to change. If we consciously relax instead of keep on fretting about something that has happened or that could happen. Just every time it comes back to you, be it anger or be it fear. The two can be treated the same. That create that shortness of breath, that create that tension, that create the muscles to contract. Then don't get stuck in the story that brought it about, but come back to your experience, to your living experience now, and relax that. Relax, relax, and it starts to change. And if we do that again and again, consequently, old issues that have power over us, usually how we are dealing with ourselves and with our environment and how we are reacting, they lose their power, and finally it's just a memory. It's just part of the knowledge that is not good, that is not bad, that is simply something that helped us to come to the present moment. And actually every memory has some wisdom in it. If we are not more emotionally attached to it, then there is wisdom that we can draw from it in our present life, in our present moment.
Yeah, I know that. I mean, I know that it's going to take time, that, and I need to work on that, because I realize also that that kind of fear, no, and anger doesn't allow me to be as I am many times, no, when I'm in front of him, no, because it's like I have to protect myself. It's like so I know that it's going to take time to work on that.
Do you have a point in your body where you centering easiest?
Yeah. Okay.
And use that point
Okay.
a lot, along with relaxing, along with conscious breathing, center.
Okay.
And when you approach your father, when you approach a situation where usually there was just tension, remind yourself, center, breathe, relax, and keep centered. If you can keep that centeredness, then already the situation you will see, the situation looks different, feels different, and is easier to deal with.
Yeah. Yeah, the curious thing also, Werner, is that now he's a bit depressed because, I mean, because the coronavirus situation, and so he's quite anxious, quite depressed. So when I was on my retreat and when I came back, he has started by his own to meditate, which is something that I had never expected from him, because he was always very. So I help him not to, because I have also the feeling that, okay, something is what I'm feeling, but in some way I have the feeling that I can help him in that situation, no, but not expecting anything, no, but so now he has starting to meditate also.
That's amazing. You know, and it's good. Of course you can. But don't now start to go after him, try to change him.
No.
The best help you can give him is that you make peace in yourself, and it has an effect on those. Actually, whatever we are doing in that direction has an effect ultimately on the whole of creation. But especially, of course, those who are close, those who are emotionally, energetically involved, positive or negative. When we make harmony in our own mind, when we make peace with ourselves, then invariably those who are connected, they will start to benefit from it and change without being aware of your influence. So that's the greatest help you can give him. Make peace with yourself and be happy.
Yeah, I mean, I did because I feel that I should do that, but without expecting anything. I know that that's his job, and I have my job with myself now. No, so I give to him some tips, what I can do for him, and I think it's done now. It's his job. Yeah.
Yeah. If he really gets interested, he will come and ask you questions, and then you can give him whatever tips as good as you can. But you don't have to start to go after him, trying
No,
to,
no, no.
to teach him.
No, he does. The other day he came and told me he was watching an interview from the Dalai Lama, and I was I was totally surprised, because it's something that I never thought that he could have interest in all that kind of. So
Great. That sounds very good.
Yeah. Okay, but it's a long job, long life job.
Well, sometimes it looks it's big and huge and it will never end, and it may start to get easier and easier, and suddenly you think, oh, it's no big deal anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, Werner.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Most
Thank
welcome.
you.
Hari Om. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Is there anybody else who would like to come? Please come.
Hi, Werner.
Ah, hello, Andrea.
Hi. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. How are you doing?
I wanted good. Well,
Good.
very well. Thank you.
Good.
I wanted to ask you about something I'm experiencing during meditation.
Yes.
Many times you have given the advice to sort of center in the chest if it's comfortable to do the turn from there. And sometimes I feel I do this and there is this feeling as if sort of the heart turning to itself, and it was sort of getting pulled very gently towards the inside. But other times when I sit, it's as if a part of my mind just fell asleep, and everything that remains is just resting in this space or emptiness, and it's just so pleasant or not unpleasant, it just happens. And but there is no turning and no heart and nothing like that. So and somehow it's like two different experiences. So I don't know, I just had the doubt if they are somehow the same, or if I should focus in one or in the other one, or if you had any advice.
No, you don't have to. You can let it happen. Simply be careful in those nice experiences. One can a little bit go to sleep in it. That it's so nice that the drive to go deeper can disappear. So you don't have to disturb the beauty and the niceness of that experience, but keep that openness of not getting stuck there, of not getting stuck in a nice space and then just think that's the point of it, of doing practice, to come back to that again and again. How you are doing it, it's up to you. You can just remind you again to center and relax also in that beautiful space. And then maybe gradually the two that seems to be quite two different experiences, they can come together, and they are not more so different, but two aspects of the same movement. Or I don't know exactly what you're doing. Are you doing self-inquiry? I'm asking.
I'm sorry, the internet cut. Can you repeat your last sentence?
I don't really know what you are doing. Are you doing self-inquiry?
Sometimes.
Sometimes, right. It's not some main thing that is there.
I mean, Somehow, yes, but it's not that I'm who am I, who am I? It's sort of more like I'm constantly who's there, who's thinking, who's feeling. And
Yeah.
then I feel that after a certain personality is seen, it vanishes. And then there is just this restful space. And then when another thought arises, again, I will look, who is thinking that thought, and then it goes away again. Something like that.
Right. And now you can maybe remember when you are in that restful, in that peaceful space. Not that you start to do it all the time, but just ask sincerely from the heart. But who, what is experience this peaceful state? It's an experience that you are describing. It's a nice experience. It's nice when in between the mind shuts up and it's peaceful. But it's also pleasant, and one can get stuck a bit in that space for long, or one can just accept, oh, that's a very nice step on the way. But just keep that alertness. Maybe you don't even need the question, but just keep that alertness, that openness to really become aware. What is it that makes that whole experience possible?
I feel that when I ask this question, who is experiencing this or what is making this possible, there's just silence, but it's not restful in a way that someone is sleeping. Like, it's extremely alive somehow. It's not the right word, but there would be no sleepiness. It's something is very aware. Like, it's something is completely quiet but completely aware. Is this enough? Because like, when you say I could get stuck in the restful space, is only if awareness is lost, right? As long as there is awareness and openness, it's okay to remain in this space?
Yes, yes.
Okay. And I feel actually when drowsiness comes, I always ask, like, who's getting sleepy, who's getting distracted.
Yeah.
And then it's like the drowsiness disappear, and then this is just this like very restful alertness. Is this what should be maintained, or?
It's great if you can maintain it and keep that openness. But I mean, when you have to get up and when you have to interact on this level, then you can maybe maintain a trace of it, but then your consciousness has to deal also with whatever you are dealing with, whatever you are busy with. There are two aspects. When I said you can also go to sleep in that, then I didn't mean it literally. Of course, in meditation we also can get tired and then start to fall asleep. But I meant that we can get a bit lazy if we get to a point where meditation becomes pleasant. That alertness to keep that openness, to sink deeper into that mystery of existence can get a bit lost. So just somehow or other don't lose that, and then it's fine. You can stay in that state as long as you can.
Okay. So somehow doing the turn is the same as keeping this awareness, sort of this inquisitiveness, no? That finally that's the same as turning back the attention, because you're inquiring, no?
Yes, right. Turning back is just a way of talking about it. It's not getting lost somewhere, but remaining at the source where it's coming from.
Okay. So as long as there is this aliveness, this alertness, one is not getting lost.
No,
or
that's
maybe
great.
not.
That's great.
Okay. And I also wanted to ask you, in terms of of this turn when it happens more on a physical level of focusing in the heart, I noticed that it's almost like it can be done rooting from the heart, and it also can be done rooting here.
Yes.
And in both cases is this feeling of sort of falling back inside, but it's different. The whole taste or color of the meditation is different when the focus comes from here and when it comes from here.
Yeah.
So I was wondering if there's something you can clarify about that, of why and what is preferable, or
Well, which of the two do you like better?
when I do from here, it's a lot easier and a lot quicker to absorb. But if we speak of what I like, I prefer to do from the chest because it's somehow more sweet.
Yeah.
But I feel that the one from here comes a lot more.
Make that into your center from the chest, where you always focus again and again, that you remind yourself also to focus when you are not sitting for meditation, when you are walking on the road, when you are in a crowd, when you are conversing with people. And then if in meditation it spontaneously happens, that it comes here, then let it happen. You still can in a way keep an anchor in your heart, and rather from there observe what's going on up there. When I say centering, then I don't mean you should exclude, you should just be in that center physically and exclude everything else. But you can be totally open and observe. All kinds of things may happen energetically, and by all means, let them happen.
Okay.
Just have one main center from where you're feeling most cozy, most familiar. That it's very helpful. Then in moments of stress, to remember to center, then you don't first spend your time, should I now center up or down, but in the moment where it's really necessary, automatically we'll start to center there, and it will be very helpful. It's a powerful help.
Okay, because I think
what do you think?
I think there is I forgot. I think there is some fear or some avoidance to focus here, because it's very easy for me to concentrate when I focus here, but I think a lot. I'm always in my mind a lot, and many people tell me that I need to connect with my heart and to ground. So I think now I have created this idea that if I'm putting more energy here in my meditation, I will not connect with my heart and the lower bottom part of my body, and this is not good, and that I could somehow become even more mental if I meditate from here.
Please, somebody is interfering. Please turn off your microphone and your camera. Anyhow, Andrea, I'm going to mute everybody, and then you have to turn on your microphone again.
Okay.
Because I think more than one microphone is off. Okay, everybody's muted. Can you come in again, Andrea, with the microphone?
Yes.
Okay. But you can forget this. This has nothing to do with being mental to focus here. This has something to do physically, not physically, it's subtle. It's not that you somehow try to get more aware of what is happening in your physical brain when you focus here. But since you are anyhow naturally feeling more at home in the heart, make that your main center and let the other happen when it happens spontaneously. And still you can observe from the heart. But it's not that here You're more mental than here. When people say, you should be more in your heart, they usually don't know what they are talking about. But it doesn't mean that physically from this point you have to come down to that point. It means that we just should not be more in your heart, that we should not give so much importance to all the stuff that we are thinking all the time.
Okay. I somehow feel that anyways, when just being in this restful space that I say that have no physical location in my body, like it's both inside, outside, I almost feel like it's somehow connected to the physical heart as well in some way, but
good.
Okay.
Keep that up.
Okay, thank you very much, Werner.
You're welcome. Hari Om.
Bye.
Hari Om. Is there anybody else who would like to come? Please come. Okay, then I will talk about a question Marie has asked. Marie, who lives in America, it's the Marie who has been doing all these clips for the YouTube from last January Satsang. And she says, living in America now, it's special. It goes towards the election, and it's just absolutely unbelievable what kind of aggression, what kind of hatred, what kind of racism is manifesting. And she has to a difficult time to deal with all that. But she says, okay, the politicians are one thing. She can sort of accept that they are the way they are, but then she feels that people are not more shocked about the situation, that they just accept that it is as it is. It's difficult for her to accept. Although at the same time she says, yes, you have talked about it and I have heard it, and God doesn't need me to run his creation. Still, that sense of wanting somehow something to change, wanting something to do about it, wanting the situation to be different, and then being frustrated. Often when frustration comes and depression comes, and how to deal with that. On the intellectual level, it's very helpful that you tell yourself again, hey, come on. I mean, in my radius where I'm functioning, I'm seeing situations which I think they are not right, and there I may be able to do something about it. And if I can, then I do something about it to change them. But all the other things that I cannot change, I still can influence in a little way amongst all the other people by not letting that situation pull me down into a dark hole. If I see negativity, if I see ugly things, and there are a lot of ugly things happening in the world, there's no point in denying that. But then get all emotional about it and let myself be pulled into that darkness, then I'm just adding more negativity. I'm not doing anything positive. I'm not adding anything constructive. At least intellectually, we can understand that. And then in the situation, if we catch ourselves, but in spite of the understanding, I'm seeing what is happening, I'm seeing how this one behaves, I'm seeing how that one behaves, I'm seeing how people are reacting or maybe not reacting, and I'm getting all worked up about it, then turn the attention to your experience right now. Pull the attention away from what brought that feeling of frustration about, but deal with the frustration directly here now. See what it is doing to your experience, what it is doing to your body right now, and start to relax. It's not that you become irresponsible if you stop worrying about things. It's not that you become insensitive if you stop fretting about all the stuff that is going on. But if you stop being pulled into negativity, then you stop reinforcing all the negative stuff that is happening in the world. Because we all do that. If we worry, if we think it's terrible, oh, it's just absolutely unbearable what's going on. If we sit in our home, see the news, read the news, Mari said she is not watching news, but in spite of that, on the internet you don't get around what is happening. So somehow it's catching up easily now with all the informatics to everyone, all the negativity. But we are not becoming insensitive if we stop worrying about it, but learn to see your reactions. And then deal with those reactions. Learn to relax instead of getting tense. And if you feel those tensions, then really relax your body, relax energetically. Then you still can be aware what's going on, but you are not strengthening that negativity. You are not also yourself pouring more negative energy, negative emotions into space. But if you are here now and you learn to relax in spite of being aware of a lot of negativity, of a lot of stuff that is going on, then you are touching something very precious. You are touching that well of existence. And out of that well flows something very beautiful. And through you, that beauty, that creativity, that constructive aspect of existence is pouring into manifestation, and actually in that way you are doing something about it. You are improving the situation. Of course, that worldwide situations would have to really on the material level change if many people do like that. But that's not the reason for getting despaired and not doing. Whenever we feel we are getting pulled into the despair, and you said, Mari, you wrote that these feelings, they can be so strong. Okay, the intellectual analyzing them and convincing ourselves that they are not necessary may not be enough. But then don't fight them. If you fight them, you strengthen them. Let them come. When you become aware they are there, let them come, but consciously. See what they are doing here now. See how they are affecting your experience, starting from the easiest, grossest level physically. And there you can start to work on it. Working on your physical tension, consciously relaxing, and in the wake of that, your energetic tensions start to reduce, then actually you do something about the situation. That's the greatest help that you can do, that basically you change your own experience. And you read, the more you can do that, the more you can be in touch with the source of yourself, with the source of beingness. the more something very beautifully flows through you into this manifestation. So don't think you absolutely need to go out and do something about it in order to have a good influence. You need not be a political activist. For those who feel that's their duty, that's what they have to do, okay, go on the street and do your thing. But it's as long as we are going out on the street and doing our thing, even if the intention basically is creative and good, but if we go out with anger, then we are just again adding more destructive stuff to the manifestation, to the space there is. So Marie, you are doing something about it by learning to deal with the emotions that it brings up in you when you see what's going on. And if you can learn to relax them, don't hold back thinking, but then I'm not responsible, or then I'm not sensitive. This is wrong. This is the mind that creates these kind of thoughts. If you can relax, if you can consciously touch your source, that well of beauty and creativity, then you really do something about the situation, because it starts to flow through you and radiate. And in most situations, in most external situations, we cannot do something about it externally, but still, if we change our perception, we are still doing something about it. And then that sense of frustration of being totally unable to participate, that something could change, also disappears, because more and more you become aware. Right, my duty is to remain in touch with that, to remain at ease, at peace, as good as I can, no matter in what situation, and then it will radiate all by itself. It's not an action that you have to consciously radiate, it simply does that. Okay, the political situation in many places is not a beautiful one. It's like the forces that have been very much power on this level in this world are clawing to hold on to what is there, because actually they are losing ground. Something very beautiful is happening at the same time. There is an influx into this space of very beautiful energy, and gradually it will start to manifest more. And it's like the old status quo feels that doesn't want to give up and is desperately trying to manifest all kinds of negative, destructive, ugly stuff in the world. And the more each single person, instead of just being totally frustrated about what is happening, learns to deal with that situation in such a way that at least I'm not adding to the negativity, but I'm bringing the attention back to that beauty of existence, and learn to be rooted in that, learn to radiate it. The more people do that, the faster this old grip of very negative and dark forces has to go, has to let go. Each one can contribute. We don't have to be all figures in the limelight, but everybody can see how we make a change. All in our silent little corner, we have an influence. So let's do that, and let's not be frustrated about what is happening. Not because we become rhinos who run into anything, but simply not because we become insensitive, but simply because that awareness becomes stronger and stronger if I really want to have a positive influence on this spot, on this situation, on my life, on the life of those who are in touch with me, and on the situation as a whole. Then my job is to bring the attention back to the timelessness of the now and learn to relax in it and touch that beautiful well of life, of creativity, of consciousness. Let it flow through you. Whether you externally act on it or not, it's radiating, it's doing its job. Okay, I stop talking about this. Is there anybody who would like to come in? Please come.
Morning, Werner.
Ah, hello, Klaus.
Hi. I was attending a mindfulness conference yesterday online, and it was I was curious going into to see what they were speaking about. And the first session, it was really just bringing the attention back, and they were using the poem of Rumi, which is called The Guest House. So it was really just bringing it down to the space and bringing it into the heart again, and especially that sentence, every moment is a new arrival.
Yeah.
And it was really powerful. And then the conference started. I was listening to the main speaker there, and they were like really worried about the impact of the digital world, about how Facebook, Google, Amazon, all these big companies are using the info they get on the internet and how to feed our addictions and how to feed our cravings for this instant gratification.
Right.
And at one point I thought, well, okay, maybe it's important that people take a stand against this in the world, to be more aware of this. And in the same time, it felt like it was also created like this duality around these things, that it was just going into, okay, we need to make a contribution, we need to step up to change this and to do something about this. And maybe it's an important thing, but I think I got more aware with this conference that about what Facebook is doing to us with the instant gratification of likes and Facebook, and that we get this craving that, okay, if I'm only there, then everything is good. I chase this like, I chase this comment, and then it's there for a second, it's gone again. So it's the rat wheel going on. So I was just curious about how you see the analog and the digital world and how they merge together, because you were also speaking now about a beautiful energy coming in, and from that conference I just felt like there was big challenges ahead if those companies are empowering in terms of the information they already have about us.
I'm sure on the material level there is the thing happening. Not only these companies, CIA has also all the information about us. Why should we worry about it?
Yeah.
You still have from moment to moment your choice how you deal with the whole story. But of course, this, no question, this digital world is an extreme power instrument. It influences people very strongly. But it is simply the fact of the present situation. There's no point of denying. It's simply there. And even if we would try to shut down one end of it, it just pops up again in another way. So instead of if somebody feels, I would say, if somebody feels it's their duty to somehow also, as I said before, if you feel it's your duty to be an activist and go on the road, then do so. And if you feel it's your duty to be an activist and go on cyberspace and do whatever you have to do something to change it, then do so. But it's more important that we are aware of that danger. I'm not denying that tremendous influence it is having. But if we are afraid of it also from the health standpoint, people are so much afraid of what impact it has. And of course, the more we are afraid, the more impact it has. If we can accept, okay, it may not be the most beneficial influence that for our health, for our vitality, all that stuff that's going on, but if I accept it's there and relax and center and touch that source of vitality, then we can neutralize this kind of stuff all the time. So the fact that it is not the most beautiful influence that we have, that instead of make it people afraid and worry about that and give it more power, let that thought remind you, okay, what I need is to be stronger. I'm living in this world. The world is as it is, and it's now a digital world. I mean, what are we doing right now? Without all the digital stuff, we wouldn't do this satsang together. We wouldn't create that positive space together. So digital in itself is neutral. It depends how you use it. And of course, it's being used by the forces who want to make money, who want to be in power, who want to keep the power. Totally. There's no doubt about it. But knowing this should not make us fret and think it's terrible that it is like this, but strengthen that resolve. Okay, I know that influence is there, but I'm getting stronger here now and getting, in that sense, less susceptible to that influence, less a victim of it. But see, the influence is there, but I make myself stronger. I'm getting centered more and more in that timelessness of the present, touching the source of that which makes all this possible. And then these influences that come from this relative level, they lose their power. So when you see it as an encouragement to become stronger, not as a possibility to become weaker and more of a victim and, oh, I cannot do anything about it.
Yeah, because it's really just a reminder of the travel back to yourself.
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, because I think also what it seems to me is that when this mindfulness, I think if you Google it, you get 109 million hits on it or something like that. So it's become really mainstream. So sometimes I also wonder about these people who are there, how much they are connected with the real, like the real purpose of it and the real bringing it back to the self. You know, it may be just a vehicle for some purpose of achieving something instead of bringing it back to the presence.
Well, it's up to each and every one that is connected with it, how much they use that to really connect, or how much they use that for something else. But this is happening in any spiritual organization. It's always up to each one that is participating. Am I using the possibility? Am I using the chance of the situation to get the help to go deeper? Or is it just another mind game where I find a society, find a hierarchy, where I can climb up in the power hierarchy? If the interest is there, then it's losing its purpose. But that's with all organizations. And it's depending each one. Also in organizations where there is a lot of corruption there, still, if the touch originally was there with something pure, then if you are in that organization, you can still, in the framework, with the help of that organization, find a space where you can use that help to go deeper. But if you feel, oh, this is too much for me, then it's better not to have anything to do with it.
Yeah, it's really interesting to just to point back the responsibility to each one who is there. So and I think it also brings tremendous power to us back again. Just that,
Right.
okay, the culture is there, but you have always a choice to go deeper, even no matter how the culture is.
Right. It's always about ourselves. It's always our responsibility, whether, I'm not saying you're free, that you have total freedom how you are acting and reacting. There are so many influences, but we have every moment a choice whether at least we attempt to connect with that, or whether we are slipping in that stream of thinking, oh, what is happening is terrible and I'm a victim of it. That we always want to make the whole world, the whole universe, creation, God, our parents, the society, everybody, everything responsible for everything that doesn't work with us. Instead of bringing it back and see what I'm doing to myself. Okay, all these things are there, all these influences are there, but what I'm doing to myself with all that stuff is up to me. How successful I'm from moment to moment may also not be in our choice, in our power, because so many other influences are there from the subconscious. A tendency may be very strong, but whether we are choosing to attempt or not, that choice we do have from moment to moment, to not get sucked into the victim mode, not get sucked into contributing more negativity, but ourselves come back to that beauty, to that beautiful well of existence, as good as we can, as good as it's at this moment possible. And if we do that consequently, whenever we remember, that gets more and more and more powerful. And then we shift not only energetically, but on all the levels. We shift that we understand I'm taking the responsibility back that I have been giving everybody else, the organizations, the big companies, the world, the politicians. I'm taking that back to myself, that I can fulfill the purpose of my existence here. And not thinking they should be different.
Yeah, I will give you one more follow-up question just to go deeper into this, because they also highlight this the difference between the analog and the digital world, and that there is fight for our attention, and the attention is vital for going deeper also. So on one level I feel like, yeah, I should maybe do more meditation and walk more in nature and be more with the analog world, but is there really like this, where is the duality between the digital and the analog world? Is there something that we need to be cautious about, or is this just created in a way, I don't know if you can give me any concrete answer about this, but it's just good to get this off my heart.
Anyhow, I think it's a very good idea, at least sometime go in nature, sometime meditate, but that doesn't mean you have to totally avoid the other side of it. It's simply a fact. You open any device, then plop, 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 there come all these advertisements. And they keep on hammering on ourselves. Your happiness is dependent that you consume more of this stuff and more of that stuff. It does pull the attention. But once you are aware of it, then you can counteract it. And be aware that even when you're opening your device, when you're going in your computer, in your phone, in your tablet, in whatever, that keep centered. Remind yourself to be centered here now. As good as you can. Even then, keep breathing consciously and relax while you are online, while you are going looking for information, while you are connecting with YouTube and watching crazy things, whatever is going on. Whenever you become aware how much you are absorbed in it, then in the midst of it, you just center again and relax. And then gradually your capacity to keep your attention where you want it to be becomes stronger than the pull that is there. But it's true, of course, the whole online business has a tremendous pull of the attention. And it has a tremendous hypnotic suggestion to everybody that, I mean, our happiness is totally dependent that we also buy this and buy that and so many things, because look how wonderful it is to have all this stuff. It keeps on and on and on hammering that enough. So it needs an alertness from our side to become aware, okay, it's pulling, and then learn to counteract it. But we can. As long as we don't remember, nothing can be done. But the moment you remember, then don't think, okay, I finished this online and then after that I'll try. But at that moment, in the midst of whatever you are busy with online, you center, breathe, relax simultaneously. And then you become aware that gradually, even in spite of that pull, your capacity of keeping your attention where you want to have it centered is getting stronger. But still, it's a very good advice not to be online all the time. Go into nature in between and do meditation for some time. But you need not think now no more digital, only nature and only meditation.
So it's the middle way.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, if somebody wants to be an ascetic and wants to completely shut out the digital world, be my guest. If that is the true calling, then perfectly all right. But we should not, spiritual teachers should not install into people when they are not doing it like that and they live the middle way, that should not install a feeling of guilt of being in the present world and being online and using all those devices. It's good to be aware the damaging thing they can do, the negative influence they can have, but it's good to be aware that you can become stronger than that, that you can overcome and neutralize the negative effect. You are basically totally strong. Everybody has that power. So we should not, as a spiritual teaching, tell people it's terrible, you are weak and how much you are influenced. Okay, these influences are there, but take stock of your own potential and become stronger than all this crap.
Yeah, yeah, that's really makes sense, and also that you can bring this also into this world of computers and the digital also, because it's just, in my world, it's been thinking a lot like meditation and the practice separately from the world, but also into when you use computer and all situation, that it's possible to bring the attention back. So thank you for broadening that out.
I can just repeat something that I have said many times. It helps very much if we have the possibility every day withdraw from all the activities. If we have every day some time where we can put our undivided attention in one way or another. What our natural way is to just be consciously conscious, to just be consciously alive here now as good as we can. But then go out, live your life, and bring that attitude as good as you can in all the activity. And whenever you remember, wherever you are, whether you are alone, whether you are with people, whether you are quiet, whether you are talking, whether you are sitting somewhere, or whether you are in full action, whenever you remember, at that moment, don't postpone it, just connect and relax. And if you do that, then what you are experiencing easier in that period when you are withdrawing and meditating gradually becomes more and more and more accessible in all the activities of your daily life.
Yeah, yeah, I'm really curious about also what the future will bring, because they were talking also about in that conference about that now they're seeing that people can start to use their minds to control digital things like drones. So
Yeah.
so I don't know how the future will be, but seems
Anyhow,
like
I'm not going to make future predictions.
no.
Be here
So
now as strong as you can. That's the best influence you can possibly have on the future.
yeah, I'm just really curious how it's even possible to control things with thoughts. It's just, yeah, but we'll see when the future come, I suppose.
Yes, let the
Yeah.
future come. But
Yeah.
the potential of the consciousness in a human form is amazing. So
Yeah,
we may be quite amazed about things that are going to happen.
yeah.
Okay,
Okay,
shall we
thank you.
stop it here? Hari Om, Hari Om.
Harium.
I see the time has advanced. If there is somebody who really has something they would like to talk about it right now, you're welcome to come.
Hello, Werner.
Hello, Nelly.
Hello. Yes. Werner, I have one question. Recently I had a discussion with my friend. We talked about Jesus.
Jesus.
Yes,
Yeah.
Jesus. It's written in Bible that Jesus was half a God, that he was a son of a God, and that he was born an unusual way, so from Holy Spirit and so on. And it seems to me that it's some exaggeration, that I would say that he was a realized person, and that he was enlightened and so on, like Ramana or like a Buddha or Amos or someone else like this. What would you say about it, about this?
I mean, if people believe what they are being told, that Jesus is the only Son of God, and that helps them to open their heart to connect with Jesus, and through that connection connect with that divinity. I don't want in any way disturb their belief, then their belief helps them. But that doesn't mean you have to believe the same thing.
Okay.
Right. I've no doubt that Jesus was a very powerful being. And there have been many other powerful beings also in this world. Because they are so in such a purity connected with that divinity. And in that sense, one can say Jesus is the Son of God, but Jesus has not proclaimed that he's the only Son of God. That was after that his followers that were doing that. Jesus was not a Christian, Jesus was a Jew. His followers, they created then the Christian religions after that and put a lot of stuff in it that keeps people quite under control. But nevertheless, if somebody believes that Jesus is the only Son of God and because of his sacrifice my sins are forgiven, and because of that they can relax better and connect with divinity better, that is perfectly well. Only if then they go out and say you also have to believe, otherwise you don't, you go to hell forever, then that's nonsense. You can just accept, since you obviously don't buy into the party line of the church, then you can very well accept Jesus as a great inspiring being, like other great inspiring beings have been there. He has poured something great, something beautiful into this world, but then if you look at history, in Jesus' name, so much cruelty has happened. I mean, they have misused his name. Jesus says that he is the Son of God, but you and I, we are all his brothers and sisters. So then you and I, we are also sons and daughters of God. And he said things like, I mean, the people have, the Bible has been compromised very much in certain, what was it called? Consuls, the religious consuls, and they took out whatever they didn't like because it didn't fit enough, that it was a power instrument, but still, in spite of that, some things are shining through that have been there. That Jesus, when they were accusing him, when he was proclaiming his divinity, then he referred them on their own books, on their old books, that in the Psalms, it's also already told that basically you are divine, basically you are gods. So he didn't say, I am God and you are not God. he was telling that for everybody. When people were astonished about certain things that he did, that were after that proclaimed as the great wonders, the great miracles that he did, he said, that's nothing. You all are going to do such things and much more than that. You all have that potential. It's not something that is private, a private privilege for me, but it's there as a potential in everyone. Even in the state that it is in, the Bible still gives hints time and again that, okay, you can call Jesus the Son of God, but everybody is a manifestation of that divinity. So you can as well say, potentially everybody is a son or a daughter of God.
Yes, I see, Werner. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hari Om.
Hari Om. Hari Om. Shall we close for today, the satsang? If there is not a super urgent thing, then I think we'll leave it at that for today. I'm going to turn off the recording.